Peppa Pig has been an essential part of childhood for almost every child around the world for several years. But has everyone who has ever watched The Adventures of the Pink Pig, including you, noticed all the hidden details and disguised references that appear in the show's episodes? Let's start with something interesting. Did you know that Peppa Pig shares its universe with another super famous cartoon? That's right, we're talking about Ben and Holly's Little Kingdom. The two shows have many references to each other, such as in the episode where the pig family visits the library. In that scene, we can see a poster featuring Princess Holly. And if that's not enough to confirm the connection between the two shows, in another scene, when Pedro Pony breaks his leg, you can see the characters Ben and Holly in the pediatric wing of the hospital. This clearly shows that these two worlds are in some way interconnected, providing plenty of opportunities for future crossovers. Another reference to Ben and Holly appears in the Christmas episode featuring Santa Claus. In the background, there's a banner showing an elf, which closely resembles Ben's friends, the main character of the show. Grab your popcorn and get ready, because we're about to reveal 22 hidden details in Peppa Pig that will surprise you. Put on your golden boots and prepare to dive deeper into Peppa Pig's universe with us. Now, here's a really cool detail, especially if you enjoy Eastern culture. Did you know that Peppa Pig has paid tribute to famous Japanese anime? One of these references appears in a Christmas episode when we can see a banner in the pig family's house showing a girl dressed as a schoolgirl, complete with a yellow bow in her hair. The detail is that this character is a direct reference to the protagonist of the anime, The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya, one of the most popular supernatural animes in Japan, released in 2006. This makes it clear that someone on the Peppa team is a fan of the anime. Another amazing reference we found in the show is to the anime One Piece. In one of the episodes, Peppa is playing with a doll, wearing an outfit similar to that of a sailor and a straw hat with a red detail. These details clearly allude to the character Luffy, the future king of the pirates from One Piece, who is known for his iconic straw hat. Additionally, the doll's sailor outfit seems to be a direct tribute to the world government, the main enemies of the pirates in the series. Quite a clever nod from the producers of Peppa. Shifting gears a bit, we all know that the world of Peppa Pig is mainly inhabited by mammals, right? But have you noticed there's one character that breaks this rule? Yes, we're talking about Mrs. Crocodile. She works at the zoo and is the only non-mammal character living like a regular human in Peppa's universe. This makes us wonder, could we see other animals from different classes, like reptiles or birds, appearing more frequently in the show in future seasons? I don't know about you, but I think it would be amazing to see frogs, eagles, and lizards interacting with the characters we already know. Just a suggestion for the creators, huh? Now let's talk about music. In addition to references to other shows, Peppa Pig also pays homage to rock bands. In the episode where the characters are rummaging through a stack of vinyl records, you can spot one of the most famous albums of all time, The Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd, released in 1973. It's clear that those working on the show must be big fans of good music. Who else here loves Pink Floyd? Oh, and of course, we can't forget about the most incredible rock band in the Peppa universe, the Rock Gazelles. Drop a Gazelles in the comments if you love them too. Let's start with a fun observation that isn't exactly a reference, but rather a curious detail that many people overlook. When the pig family travels to Paris, there's a scene where they encounter the family of the donkey, Delphine. What almost no one noticed is that while they walk through the streets, an elderly lady appears walking with her pet. This lady is, interestingly enough, a poodle. It's funny because, in Paris, the image of the poodle is often associated with sophistication. However, what makes the scene ironic is that we see a poodle walking with a pet. And as if that surprise wasn't enough, the poodle's pet isn't just another dog, cat, or something more common. The little animal is none other than a small turtle. This detail is hilarious because the turtle moves at an incredibly slow pace. It's a funny touch in the episode, showing that even a turtle can be an ideal companion in Peppa's world. Since we're talking about pets, it's worth mentioning that several characters in the series have their own pets, even though they themselves are animals. A clear example is Peppa's goldfish, her beloved pet, which appears in various episodes. It's curious to think that, despite being a pig, she has a fish as a pet. And it's not just Peppa who has a pet. Her grandfather has one too. But instead of a fish, Grandpa Pig takes care of a parrot. It's always interesting to see the contrast between the pets of the characters and their owners. But I honestly think The parrot fits Grandpa Pig, who always enjoys telling stories to his grandchildren. Famous books also have their guaranteed space in Peppa Pig, always with cool references. In the library episode, already mentioned before, we see a rhinoceros calmly reading a version of the classic Romeo and Juliet. This is a subtle way to show that the inhabitants of Peppa's world appreciate culture, even though they are animals. I would have thought their books would be about other animals, not humans. What do you think? Few people know, but one of the best hidden details of the episode is Peppa Pig herself. When the pig family is cruising through New York in a taxi driven by the American version of Miss Rabbit, if you pause at just the right moment, you'll see that in a bookstore they pass by, there's a book with a pig on the cover, which would be none other than Peppa herself. It's a pretty subtle and hard-to-notice reference, which surely took a lot of effort to find. I bet you had no idea this detail existed. In fact, in that same scene in the New York bookstore, we can spot another hidden reference. This time, it's Holly, the character from Ben and Holly's Little Kingdom, who also makes a discreet appearance. She's on the cover of another book, right next to Peppa's book. The cover is light green, and this is such a cool reference that most people miss it. But tell me, did you know that the show Ben and Holly's Little Kingdom, created by the same folks behind Peppa Pig, is also quite well known in the United States? At one point in the episode, we can see a large billboard featuring the duo. This suggests that, perhaps, Ben and Holly might even have their own movie set in the same universe as Peppa Pig. That would be really amazing. This little detail is really cool. And you know what else is really cool? Subscribing to our channel now so you don't miss our upcoming amazing videos. Once again, talking about the characters' pets in the show, other characters like Pedro, Pony, and Madame Gazelle also have their pets. Pedro has a stick insect, and Madame Gazelle takes care of 2 adorable guinea pigs who are treated by Dr. Hamster. I always find it amusing to see hamsters taking care of guinea pigs since they look quite similar. Another interesting example is Grandpa Rabbit, who has a rather peculiar pet. At first glance, it might look like a simple lizard, but it's actually a salamander. This becomes evident because the habitat of this little creature has a considerable amount of water, something necessary for salamanders. If it were a common lizard, that water wouldn't be so essential. By the way, did you know that Grandpa Rabbit is one of the few characters whose name is clearly pronounced? In the beach episode, something fascinating is revealed. The letter written over 80 years ago by a little rabbit named Rad Rabbit was actually written by him. This confirms that Grandpa Rabbit's real name is Richard, which is shortened to Rad, just like his grandson. Speaking of revealed names, there are few characters whose names are mentioned throughout the series. For example, the Rock Gazelles have their names revealed in a funny scene where the children's teacher, Madame Gazelle, is called Gigi. Her 2 sisters, who are part of the band, are named Greta and Gretel. An interesting detail is that all their names start with the letter G. Now, if we think about the celebrity vegetables, it's interesting to note that they are as popular in the United States as they are in England, where Peppa lives. A curious detail emerges when the pig family is walking through Times Square. Among the many ads and billboards, we can see high-speed races with vehicles driven by potatoes. Yes, potatoes! Apparently, this is a craze on the other side of the Atlantic. Speaking more about the vegetables, in addition to the potatoes, other plant characters also appear on the billboards in New York. One of them is a humanoid pineapple that stands out on a giant screen. Not just anyone appears in Times Square, so we can conclude that this pineapple must be quite famous there. Next to it, we see small fruits that look like blueberries or grapes, and on top, there's a banana man. It's a fun and creative scene that few notice at first glance. During this same trip of the pig family to the United States, Peppa makes a stop at a roadside diner. We discover that, at some point in the past, the rock gazelles were a true global music phenomenon. This becomes clear when we see a framed picture of them hanging in the restaurant. These rock ladies have already had their glory days, and the fact that they are still prominently remembered shows their importance in the Peppa universe. To wrap things up, an interesting detail related to the story comes when Peppa, George, and Grandpa are digging in the grandparents' backyard. During their excavation, they find a gold coin with the image of a Viking. This references the true history of England, which was long inhabited by Vikings. The series has even made a reference to this before, with the ladies in the show dressing up as Vikings in a fun play about the past. And while the video may be coming to an end, the fun doesn't have to stop here. We've picked 2 videos especially for you to keep watching. Click on one of them and continue here with us. Thanks, and see you in the next video!